Rugby Championship 2021 is over, folks. Forgive the indulgence, but I've still been looking at the stats. I've picked a few good ones out of the stats from the 2021 season. We'll go through those, kind of one for each team, and then one overall as we head into some action up north in November. So, a bit of fun, folks. As always with the stats, take them with a grain of salt. I just like looking at them to see kind of what trends and conclusions we can draw. But, there's always multiple factors going on when you got 30-odd guys running around the field at any given time. We will start with the Wallabies, and it's kind of a no-duh stat in that the All Blacks have the Wallabies number, clearly. The Wallabies had a pretty good campaign other than those results against the All Blacks, but there's one kind of interesting area when you look at the Wallabies game that I think you can kind of spin it as a bit of a positive. So, sure enough, when they play the All Blacks, they get a lot of points put on them. In just the two Rugby Championship games, ignoring the Bledisloe game that happened before the Rugby Championship started, the All Blacks get 14 clean breaks against the Wallabies in Game 1 and 15 in Game 2. That's a lot. That's a lot. But when I say I want to draw a positive upon this, if you combine those two games together, that has more clean breaks conceded for the Wallabies than the two games against the Springboks, the two games against the Pumas, and the 3 games against France combined. So apart from against the All Blacks, the Wallabies are actually pretty good at not getting their line broken. The numbers against France are normal, and the numbers against the Pumas and the Boks are actually pretty exceptional. Does that speak more to the Boks and Pumas not creating chances, or do we give good credit to the Wallabies' defence? As always, I think it's probably a bit of both, but if they can just figure out how to stop the All Blacks running riot, the Wallabies will have everything down pat. But there you go. Kind of interesting stat for the Wallabies, I thought. Now, the Pumas, it's kind of a bit harder to find positive stuff to talk about. Wooden spoon, no points, not many tries. It was all a wee bit doom and gloom. I mean, if you want to compare them to Italy from the Six Nations, they didn't concede anywhere near as many tries as the Italians conceded, but the Italians scored more on average than the Argentinians did. So that's kind of one throwaway one. But defensively, you do have to give the Pumas guys some credit. Surely they made a lot of tackles. You saw the games, man. They were on the back foot for ages. They averaged 135 tackles a game. The All Blacks 115, the Boks 101, and the Wallabies 92. So 135 tackles a game is massive, but like I said, it does speak to the fact that they were on the back foot. They were kind of, just having to hold their line. But one interesting one, and it's kind of one that you can debate, but often teams who are on the back foot defensively for large periods have higher penalties conceded counts. Not exclusively, by no means, but I mean, if you look at the Six Nations for the last couple of years, I think Italy was either first equal for penalties conceded. Like, it just tends to be, if you're on the back foot, if you're defending for large periods, you're going to concede more penalties as a general kind of brush stroke, right? But if you look, and it's a weird stat, I've never kind of run them this way before, if you look at the amount of tackles made by a team and the amount of penalties conceded by a team, the Pumas actually have the best numbers in terms of they can make the most tackles before they concede a penalty. Now, obviously, you don't just concede penalties on defense. You don't just concede penalties while making tackles. But, yeah, their numbers, they can get through about 12 tackles before they concede a penalty. The All Blacks is 11. The Springboks is 9. And the Wallabies, as a worst number, 6.8 tackles before they will give away a penalty. So the idea that the Pumas can tackle and keep their discipline is actually pretty good. Now, I should say the Pumas were the second most penalised team in the competition. But remember, they also had to make a ton of tackles. So, they did concede 6 yellow cards, which is the most, which averages 1 a game, which is, again, not ideal. But, if you're looking for a bright spot for the Pumas, statistically, by skewing the stuff, I don't know if it's skewing, it's just the numbers, man. You can just kind of compare one stat with another. That's what it is for the Pumas. So I thought that was kind of interesting. For the Springboks, they like to kick the ball. No duh, again. In the Rugby Championship, the Argentinians, Wallabies, and New Zealanders actually kicked the ball a similar amount of time. Kicks from hand. Argentina 127, Australia 131, New Zealand 132, and then South Africa 186. Next level. Nobody gets even close to the Springboks for number of kicks per game. But I thought what was interesting was to look at kind of like ball in hand actions. What did the teams do when they had the balls in their hand? But basically passing, running, or kicking, right? And kind of in the back of my mind, I thought the Boks are going to have huge numbers for kicking and less for running and passing, but it's not quite that. It's the kicking is high for sure, but it's the passing that's being lost. The New Zealanders, Argentinians, and Australians all have pretty similar breakdowns, like within a kind of percent of each other of, for all the actions they took, what percentage was passing, what percentage was kicking, what percentage was running. The Springboks running is kind of similar to everyone else, but it's the passing that is the action that's getting taken away by the kicking. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense. When Faf is the guy who's kicking, it means you're already losing that pass. It's not like pass, kick. Not like pass to somebody who's then going to kick. So, yeah. Interestingly, when you look at that final game against the All Blacks, they did pass a bit more, but it's not the most passing they've ever done in a game. So it's not just like you can simply say, oh, they kicked too much, they need to pass it more. Obviously, Jacques Nienaber has talked about like they need to pass when the pass is on. It did seem they had a bit more intent to pass it in that final game against the All Blacks, but they passed it a ton against the Aussies in that second game and kind of got well beaten. So it's not just as simple as kind of passing it more. And the South Africans' run meters per carry is actually a pretty good number, 3.9. The good number to go for is 4, so they're pretty much there. When they're running it, it's effective. It's just the passing game is less than the kicking game comparatively to the three other teams. But yeah, I just thought that was kind of an interesting one because I just assumed that the running would have been taken away as well, but seemingly not. But there you go. Do you want the Boks to pass it more? Maybe a wee bit. And the All Blacks area of concern, it's again, you kind of, when you look at, maybe you think of it as an area of concern, maybe you think it's just part of the game. Now, the All Blacks won 5 from 6, can't complain about too much. They lead so many stats, the run meters, the tries, the clean breaks, the offloads, the turnovers won. They lead many of the key stats. But there's one stat that Fozzie won't be too chuffed about leading. And that stat is the amount of turnovers they conceded. The All Blacks, by a mile, have the most turnovers conceded of the competition, including one game, which was the first game against South Africa, where they conceded 24 turnovers, which includes knock-ons, but also includes getting the ball ripped off you at the breakdown, losing lineouts. They're all kind of combined into that one glorious stat. So turnovers conceded, knock-ons is usually about half or more. So, yeah, 24 against that game against the Springboks. But they still won the game, so maybe you can't complain about that too much. The lowest count the All Blacks had was 11. Game 2 against South Africa, and they lost. So that's what I mean about kind of sometimes taking stats with a grain of salt, because they don't always matter. But, I mean, yeah, you look at the comparison with the other teams, and the All Blacks just have more turnovers conceded than everybody else pretty comfortably. Interestingly, though, you look at the amount of passes the All Blacks make, and it's more than everybody else. You look at the amount of offloads the All Blacks make, and it's more than everyone else. So maybe it's just kind of part and parcel with the All Blacks game. It's a slightly kind of higher risk, higher tempo game, which is just going to lead to more errors. And 5 from 6 wins, maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe you just kind of take that with it. Interestingly, although, just kind of a bonus fact, bonus stat. The All Blacks run meters per carry, their numbers are fantastic against Australia. Pretty good against Argentina, and then kind of dipping into normal or solid against the Springboks. It's kind of a downward trend. They just love playing the Wallabies at the moment. They're able to kind of get meters for fun, but yeah. that is what it is. Lastly, one thing that applies to all the teams is they maybe need to practice the old goal kicking. I don't know that the Northern Hemisphere teams will be shaking in their boots about the Southern Hemisphere guys coming up and kicking a bunch of goals, because the kicking rates, they're not great. Australia, 77% success from the tee. New Zealand, 76. South Africa, 73. Argentina, 58. Remember, Boffelli was having to do a fair bit of the kicking because Sanchez was injured. But yeah, that's just one controllable that the teams seemed to struggle with a wee bit. I don't know if it's struggle. I mean, sometimes 70% something is decent. But honestly, you want someone who's going to kick it 80% plus, right? So, yeah, there you go. Rugby Championship, like I said, it's done and dusted. I can stop looking at the stats now, maybe. But, yeah, there you go. As I said, stats are only one facet of the game. There's plenty of moving parts going on. If you have more passes, you're going to have more turnovers conceded. Maybe that is just a thing. Kicking your way to victory or passing, it doesn't really make a difference as long as you get the result right. So, yeah, the Pumas tackling, all the good it did them when they went none from 6. And the Wallabies just need to get those All Blacks under control. What's going on? But anyway, you guys have any thoughts? I thought it was an interesting look. I just love looking at the numbers. And, yeah, forgive me the indulgence. But you guys take care. And I will talk to you guys again soon. See you later.